Never dare to sell your soul for money because no amount of wealth will buy you an air conditioner in hell. If you ask an extremely successful salesperson, what makes you different from the average sales rep? What makes you different? You will most likely get a less than accurate answer to that question. Everyone talks about the art of persuasion, an overused term in my opinion. Persuasion is not a sales skill. It's an abrupt instrument of last resort that sellers use when they don't know how to influence the choices their buyers make. So if you want to succeed at selling, yes, in my opinion, it's important to somewhat emulate the traits of those who came before you. I did that a lot. However, you need to develop your own unique, authentic style. The key is how to sell without having to be, a bold salesperson. That, in my opinion, that will truly separate you from the rest of the pack. The reality is we all have, this ideal built-in sales mechanism that is called trustworthiness and being genuine. Okay, but unfortunately, people don't dig deep enough into their heart and they only use their surface level skills. So whether you're, pitching, let's say, a startup to investors, you're a stockbroker, you're selling commercial, residential real estate, hell, you're selling cars at a dealership. Sales skills are vital to all business ventures. You're a lawyer, you're pitching your product and services. I have friends that have the VP title on their business card. They want to show it to me, at Goldman & Sachs. Every other person is a VP at Goldman & Sachs, by the way. The bottom line is they work in sales. The richest people in the world work in sales. The richest people in the world didn't go to college. As many who have tried their hand at sales can attest. However, not everyone is cut out for this line of work. I do believe some people have the it factor. It's an innate wisdom to connect with people. They're able to find the right keys to the right doors during their conversations with clients. You can read all the books, go through all the training to improve your sales skills. Absolutely, it will help a little bit. It will help a little bit. I've been through a tremendous amount of training through startup and Fortune 500 companies. My God, spin selling, solution selling, needs-based selling, C-level selling, psychology of selling, creative selling, high-level account selling, and many, many more. I've been on many teams with peers that went through the same training, and they never became a true, authentic, genuine, gifted problem solver for clients. I also firmly believe, but this goes against the grain, that introverts can be just as successful as extroverts. It's a bunch of BS. Many articles have been written that lean into extroverts being better salespeople. It's a bunch of BS. Remember, in my opinion, the loudest guy, gal in the room is the weakest. If you can just be an active listener and asking good questions with some passion sprinkled on top, and that passion's an overused word too, that can get you on the field and into the game, and you can have a good career. At my core, I'm an introvert. Robin Williams, one of the best stand-up comedians, actors, was an introvert at heart. People would say after a show, he would be in a corner of the green room just sitting catatonic, mumbling to himself. That's what I have to do after I talk to a client in a long meeting. I'm drained. But I enjoy it. So you don't 80-60 extrovert or introverts. When you're hiring salespeople, you're hiring someone to represent your company. After all, they are the face of your brand. So it's only natural that you would want to hire only the best. But in my opinion, does that mean you have to have a lot of sales experience? Hell no, not necessarily. But they should possess certain traits, which in the end, you're identifying those in the interview, that identify them, and you can check off as someone that's somewhat successful in sales. So, someone just said to me the other day in a meeting, a lot more experience than I am in the real estate sector. I've been in this business 31 years. I know what I'm talking about. You got a lot to learn, kid. Remember, someone told me this a long time ago. A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. I know people with a lot less experience crush peeps with more experience. A lot of times, some professionals, in my opinion, they get soft if they've been in the game a long time and, you know, they're not studying every day, they give it up, they're not doing what they need to do to be successful. And if they have to tell you how good they are without you figuring out for yourself, these types of individuals are not worth your time. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. 86 of them. You know, based on my observation, my life experiences, and working at top Fortune 500 and startup companies, failing and moving forward, you know, and having a lot of mentors, and I still have mentors, I believe highly successful people need to possess some traits, and a lot of people have talked about this, but these are my traits that I think that I've learned through the years, and I've had other ones that I thought were good. But number one, modesty, genuine, authentic. I don't like to quote reviews on this, but the Harvard Business Review, the HBR, found that 91% and other articles on this, top salespeople had a medium to high score of humility and modesty on personality tests. Remember, the loudest guy or gal in the room is the weakest. Be modest, be humble, be genuine. Furthermore, the results suggest that, you know, people that are, let's say, ostentatious salespeople who are full of bravado and hubris, they annihilate far more customers than they win over. Bottom line, highly effective salespeople, they're humble. They're humble. And modest people who work well within a team environment. It's good to be an individual contributor, but you want to work well in a team environment, collaborate internally and externally. You know, rapport building in the long term is far better than burning bridges to make a sale. Don't try to fake things. Tell people what you know, why you want to help them and why you even care. It will be obvious if your intent is solely, try to sell people something and you're not authentically there to inform. Help and connect with people is important. And if you don't do that and you're not authentic, it will show. It will come across in the discussion. I would say communicate in a way that you would with your family. That's what I try. Tell stories where appropriate. You don't want to be an over storyteller, but stories are good. And, if you do that, you're truly going to humanize the interaction. You have to listen to the customers, and everyone talks about this. You do have to listen to the customer's pain points before you start selling your product or service. Great salespeople sell solutions to problems, and they do that by understanding and listening to their customer. Okay? And like I said, internally and externally, communicate with your employees internally if you're working on an account. Don't think you know everything. Ask questions before you get on that sales call. Internal, external communication. Number two, thick skin. In today's climate, everyone is so super sensitive. Relax, people. Keep living and moving forward. The best salespeople have thick skin. They know it's not personal when faced with rejection. Every day, I used to have a problem with this. Remember, there are customers who just don't need what you have to offer. So number two, you got to be thick skin. Number three, this is obvious, but so important, credible. Establishing credibility should be one of your primary sales objectives. Your credibility is so important that it can make or break the sale if you BS your customer and they find out something. Okay? Credibility is so important. Enough said, especially with the internet today. Okay. Number four, improvisational. This one's special to me. One of my mentors was the best at this. Successful salespeople are able to respond on demand. On demand. If you know your brand like the back of your head and you're studying every day those markets in a sincere way, answering on the fly shouldn't put a great salesperson into a frenzy. And I've seen this happen to people. Know your stuff. And if you don't, okay, but don't BS your clients. There's nothing worse than hearing pages of notes rustling during discussion or asking the prospect to hold on while you look for the answer to their question. It's okay if you say, hey, I'll get back to you, and you get back promptly. But if you're doing it all the time, that's a problem. Good salesperson is always aware of his or her, circumstances and surroundings, can see how, their product or service might positively impact the environment, and will be prepared to present and make a sale at any moment. Observing that room and anticipating before you go into that discussion. You have those discussions with your mentor and yourself, and write notes, anticipate questions. So number five, it's a simple one, I know, rapport builder. Yes, this one is pretty obvious. It sounds simple enough. However, this is a difficult concept to apply in a creative way. Many people fail at it. Okay, many people fail at it. Building rapport is all about creating a common interest, of course, and establishing a relationship that feels authentic and true. Trust builds rapport. you know, but don't make promises that you can't follow through on. I've seen that happen all the time. Bottom line is, what you could do right away is give the customer client solutions that they can use immediately, building trust. Build that trust. Number six, be curious. This is important. I wasn't this way early on. If you are curious, you are naturally inclined to be hungry for knowledge, and you'll keep researching the brand, the company, the person, and the knowledge for information. Top salespeople are naturally more curious than their lesser performing counterparts. A high level, of inquisitiveness correlates to an active presence during sales call. An active presence drives the salesperson to ask customer, and this is hard to do, asking those customers difficult and uncomfortable questions in order to close those gaps in information. It's a skill. Don't be afraid to do that. Fear. Embrace that fear. Number 7. This is obvious. You got to be positive. But we're not enough. A successful salesperson is always positive, even during difficult times. You are going to get punched, people. Every time you get out of bed, you're going to get punched in the face every day. And I had a tough time dealing with this because you got to be positive. Positive people believe, even when the odds are stacked against them, that they will create a positive outcome for all parties. Someone told me this a long time ago. It was hard for me to do. A smile and a PMA, a positive mental attitude. It will go a long way. It will. Number 8, this is my honorable mention. This is me. Ability to feel with laser focus. Ability to feel. Doesn't mean you're unamiable, by the way. Empathy. The important central ability to feel as other fellow does or gal in order to be able to sell him or her a product or service must be possessed in a large measure, in my opinion. Having empathy does not necessarily mean, I had these discussions with people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, and being sympathetic. So I had a lot of mentors, One can know what the other fellow feels without agreeing with that feeling. But a salesman simply cannot sell well without the inevitable and ability to get powerful feedback from the client through empathy. I think it's so important. You need to act with purpose in your day-to-day and apply defocus, but not sympathy. It's not what I'm talking about. So an excellent salesperson is very skilled at getting answers to questions. Sometimes a sale can grow from just having a discussion about clients' needs and the challenges they are facing in their industry. Those 30,000-foot view discussions have been tremendous for me in some cases. Top salespeople want to know if they can win the business, and they want to know the truth as soon as possible. Not all salespeople are successful. In my opinion, this is the biggest thing. For me, it helps to have a broad worldview and cultural understanding. Being well-traveled, living in Europe, that my brother told me to do was the best experience of my life. Being well-traveled from an early age and experiencing different cultures will go a long way to understanding different personality types and having deeper discussions with customers. Just sitting in a cafe is and observe people. Observe how they walk. Observe their body language, how they sit. When they're reading their computer at a cafe and you see a facial expression, maybe something went wrong, or they're thinking about an email and they look up or they look to the side, or just observing people's behavior has been so tremendous for me because I'm naturally inquisitive. One of my majors was psychology, and I love human behavior in a genuine way. It's not fake. I love talking to people. That's what I'm talking about. If you don't love talking to people and you don't love understanding the human condition and what makes people tick and providing solutions to problems, I love helping people. I want them to win. I want their business to improve. I want them to get that building. I want them to have a better relationship with their partner or their wife or husband or whatever. If you truly believe that, that will come across in sales discussions, because you're going to dig deep and you're going to be inquisitive, and maybe you go a little too far and they say, hey, that's a little too personal, whatever. But it's just understanding the human condition. I love that. I love what makes people tick, and I love providing solutions to problems. And if you love that, then that's going to go a long way. If you don't love that, like I said, you can read all the books in the world. If you just don't have the it factor, Some people have an energy when they walk into the room. People gravitate and they want to talk to them. You know, I'm not saying I have that all the time, but I truly love to provide solutions to problems. I truly love having conversations with people about life, anything, and I can do it for hours. So those are my traits. A lot of people have talked about these things that haven't worked in industries or done things, and you know, my learnings from observations, working in major corporations, and doing things throughout my career. And don't sell your soul, sell your heart. Take care.